My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Shadows over Loathing, wherein, obviously we are going to restore all of the humans here. Obviously we are going to undo the curse of this frog god shrine. Because, hey, like maybe you can have a slight case against the guy who popped the individual eye out specifically. But a lot of these people were just shift workers. Sorry, friend, you don't get to do that. I mess with it. I return the missing eye. In the interest of full disclosure, I should point out this is a one-way decision. If you mess with the idol, you won't be able to change your minds afterwards. So don't mess this up. I return the missing eye. No, don't! You socket the missing emerald back into the statue. Both eyes flash with a brilliant green light and then dim again. No, hop you, you bet! Ugh. You okay? My brain feels slimy. Gross. This guy seems pretty tired. Maybe it's from all the hopping around from earlier. Hey, are you, you? The original you?
Yeah, I'm the actual human guy, yeah. My name's Roger. Thanks for your help. I think I would have gone crazy if I'd been trapped as a frog for much longer. Anyway, I guess there isn't like the practical difference between a crazy frog and a sane one.
No problem, Roger. I was happy to help.
I mean, if that's still true, we got another problem.
What's up?
Yeah, see, I don't know how much you saw of the situation around this quarry, but it's a pretty terrible place to work.
Yeah, it does seem kind of run down.
It doesn't need to be, that's the thing, we turn a good profit. But the foreman absolutely refuses to spend more than the minimum on facilities and wages. And meanwhile, he's eating caviar for lunch like he's John D. friggin' Rockefeller.
Jeez.
You should have seen his face when I showed him that idol. His tongue hit the floor like a cartoon wolf. He's getting yachts, catalogs in the mail, while we actually do the work and take turns sleeping in big one bed.
Why don't you quit?
We tried to start a union, but he just called in the Pinkertons to rough us up. If we try to quit, it's the same deal. We can't even walk out because he just watches us like a hawk. We decided to take our chances anyway though. See that tunnel back there on the left? That comes out past the trees, and if we sneak out at night, he won't spot us. We could be out of here and well on our way to town by morning.
You're planning to cross the swamp at night?
Yeah, it's not too much of a plan, but it's the only plan we got. The only other problem is, that tunnel's full of flies. Some kind of nest?
Right. You need someone to clear the tunnel out for you?
Yeah, that's about the size of it, and the size of those flies is real big.
Ah, swell.
I'll need you to kill any maggots in there too, so they don't come back.
Ew.
I haven't got anything to pay you with, but we'd really appreciate the favor.
Absolutely gonna do it. Union strong. Oh boy! I'm off to join the Pinkertons. This man looks puzzled and tired. I talked to him. Everything all right? I'm really thirsty for some reason, which is weird because water's practically the only thing we get around here. Is it clean at least? Calling that'd be a real stretch, but it's all right once your immune system gets acclimated. Uh-huh. I grew this mustache just to help filter it. Each. This guy has an uncomfortable but hopeful look on his face. I talked to him. Everything all right? My tongue hurts, and I got a kind of gross taste in my mouth. Oh, I mainly been eating shoe leather though, so it ain't really new. Well, it might be new in a way. What? Nothing. You managed to get a fly, I imagine. This lady appears anxious and tired. Everything okay? Oh, I don't like to complain, but I'm so tired. When I took this job as an office assistant, I never imagined I'd be in charge of cleaning up the maintenance around the camp as well. Oh, there's so much, and I'm only one wee person. Ah, geez, that's rough. And now I'm having these weird dreams about frogs. Honestly, makes me regret giving up loading them. Well, hopefully Roger's plan will work out. You probably shouldn't go through that stuff while that lady's watching you. I mean, you probably shouldn't anyway. But the fact that she's watching you makes a more concrete reason than just basic morality.
Damn it, I wanted that stuff.
The foreman looks up from the yacht catalog he's reading and scowls at you. I need his key so that I can get the safe stuff. All I can think of doing currently is clearing it out. So that's what I'm gonna lean towards and do. Of course, stench armor, is that gonna be particularly useful in this instance? Maybe. Mysterious owl ring. That's what's giving me detective mode when I'm talking to some people. So I think that's something that I can give up. You can't take more than 5 damage at once from the bottle cap ring. That's power. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go with that. Maybe the ability to prevent poison on myself actually would also be really good. The Bezoar ring. Actually, I'm gonna go with the Bezoar ring. It really feels like they're gonna try and inflict some poison on me, or bleed. And if it's the bleed, I'll come back with the Scabrous ring equipped. Okay, I do want 1 additional AP in the first round, if that's at all possible. I know I can put on the prototype helmet to regenerate an extra AP per round, but unfortunately my max AP is still 2, so I don't think I can do anything about that. Maybe I just use a homemade pet pill. Ooh, a vein of extra bloody hematite. I ask it for a donation. You convince the hematite to give you some of its extra blood. I got 6 hematic ichor. This is the good parts of some blood. Neat. Alright. These flies are large and aggressive. That's 2 understatements for the price of 1. I fight them. Oh boy. They intend to try and do stench damage, and it's gonna be very difficult for them, I'll say that. I give them some backup. Oh, they inflict poison upon the person that strikes them in melee, maybe? Only melee? Yes, only those that strike them in... Well, actually, hang on. Maybe only those that strike them in melee. I'm just immune to poison anyway, so I wouldn't have known it on my main character. I don't like how they move. A giant pile of squirming maggots. Also, a squirming pile of giant maggots. I destroy the horrible things. You're gonna have to basically stomp on them and squelch them individually. It's gonna be super disgusting. Would you like to read a full description of that, or shall we just move on? I'll tell y'all, this is content. I'm gonna do it, but feel free to skip ahead if you would prefer. I want the gory details. Just to be clear, there's no bonus item or achievement or other special reward for reading the gross version. It's just gonna be as long as I can stand to make it. Hit me with your best shot. Okay. That's just the sound of me cracking my knuckles. You pick up one of the maggots. It's about the size and shape of a medium to large sweet potato, or yam depending on where you're from, but instead of a brownish orange, it's a sickly white color, ridged like an earthworm, both fleshy and rubbery, and covered in sticky clear mucus. It wriggles and pulses in your hand. You drop it on the ground and stomp on it. It bursts with a pop squelch sort of sound, spraying lumps of what pallid white flesh and thin greenish yellow juice in a circle around the point of impact. When you lift your foot again, it sticks to the floor and makes a sound as you peel the sole of your shoe away. Keep going. You pick up 2 more maggots. They wriggle in your hands as though they can sense what's about to happen. The mucus covering them, and your hands now, has the texture and viscosity of slightly thinned down rubber cement. It glistens in the dim light and makes strands and webs between your fingers as you open and close your hands. You drop the 2 maggots on the ground and stomp on them, 1 foot each. Splort, splat! The spray looks like lumps of old mayonnaise mixed with the juice from an expiring campsite glow stick. The added liquid is making the floor slimy instead of sticky now, and you have to move more carefully to keep your footing. You approach the pile again. You pick up another maggot. It sticks to your hand, and as it writhes, you can feel the glue-like mucus pulling softly at your skin. The fluids pumping around it, and inside it, make it pulse faintly like a slowly beating heart. You squeeze it, gently at first, and then harder. It has the rubbery resistance of a half-filled water balloon. Imagine a white balloon partially filled with warm green milk, and how it would feel to squeeze that in your fist. Then there's a thin, high-pitched, squealing sound as it bulges at the ends and then bursts, spraying you with, by appearances, rancid cottage cheese and antifreeze. Now's when you start to notice the smell. This is a true story. Once, when I was in junior high school, I tripped and skinned my left elbow on the sidewalk, a patch of bleeding road rash a little larger than a quarter. I washed it off and put a bandage over it and forgot about it, until a few days later, when I noticed the smell. Because my classmate sitting near me had noticed the smell, and wondered aloud where it was coming from. My injury had become infected, the bandage was soaked with pus. The smell is immediately identifiable. But if you've never smelled it, it smells a lot like rotting apples, about the time they're completely brown and soft and have started to leak and collapse under their own weight. Close your eyes and take a deep breath through your nose, and imagine the smell filling your sinuses, except with an undertone of sour milk. That's what you're smelling now. You pick up a maggot in each hand and squeeze them. They thrash in your hands and squeal, a thin, high-pitched noise like a pinhole in an air mattress. You close your eyes as they burst, and warm, clotted innards splatter against your face, then ooze down and drip onto your shirt. You might expect their insides to be cold, as insects are cold-blooded, but in fact, maggots generate a fair amount of heat through metabolism and muscular contraction. In terms of texture, it's like being splattered in the face with a bowl of warm bolognese sauce. Or, perhaps more accurately, if someone projectile vomited onto your face after eating a bowl of warm bolognese sauce. The smell of rotting fruit and sour milk is thick in the air now. Some of the juice has gotten to your mouth. I don't really have a point of comparison for the taste, but I imagine it tastes much the same as it smells. A little more acrid, maybe? I've lost the ability to stop. We can't even select stop anymore. It's only keep going. Killing the maggots in ones and twos is clearly going to take too long, so you jump as high as you can and stomp heavily down into the pile with both feet. The sound it makes is sort of a thwack crunch splat, all at the same time, and you're up to your waist in thrashing white mucus-coated grubs. You lift a foot, but you lose your balance and fall backwards into the pile. Imagine falling backwards into a ball pit filled with overripe tomatoes and long-expired milk, except the tomatoes are alive and crawling on you. Now they've covered you, and they're everywhere. You roll around, crushing the squirming maggots beneath you, feeling each distinct burst as a rubbery grub pops under your weight and sprays more yellow-green bile and lumps of white gristle and growing pool of sweet and sour-smelling slime. I keep going. Eventually, you stop. Out of breath, but not wanting to breathe. It doesn't matter, because the putrid glop has gotten up your nose and in your mouth and down your throat regardless of your desires. You might guess that you'd become accustomed to the smell by now, but nope. You still smell it, and you will never stop smelling that rotten fruit stench for the rest of your life. You're lying in a pool of chunky maggot stew, covered in a pulp of hundreds of burst grubs. Your clothes soaked entirely through to the skin with mucus and stinking green juice, every crevice filled with pallid white curds. You are the ungodly avatar of putrescence and filth upon this miserable earth. Anyway, thanks for reading, hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for listening if you didn't skip. Not that it's a weakness to have done so. If this is too much for you, that's fine. I went into it knowing. For me personally, you could scrub ahead, etc. We got an item for it. A giant maggot. Looks like you missed one. It really enjoys riding around on your head though, and you haven't got the heart to kill it. Plus one to muscle, mixticality, and moxie. Yay! It's a very useful. Oh, we're egg-headed. We're egg-headed. I've scratched. I know what's happening. I'm not getting all of my souls at the moment. It's the back way out of the cave. Leave the area. I mean, is that enough of the flies dead for you, bud? Hi, how's it? Oh my, sorry.
Hi, how's it? Oh god. Don't come any closer, what are you covered in?
Oh, this? It's just maggot guts.
Well, thanks for clearing out the tunnel. Please leave this enclosed space and get some fresh air.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
I was more saying it for my benefit.
Good luck with your escape plan, Roger. Man looks puzzled and tired. Anyone else want to have a discussion with me? Seems like that's a no for the moment. Scram, I'm busy. You'll look it. This guy has the look of someone who's desperately trying to stay awake and he's trying for too long. I talk to him. Are you okay? That depends whether you're real or I'm hallucinating you. I'm real. The frog thing though, that was a hallucination, right? No, that was real too. If you're about to tell me your shoelaces are really butterflies, I should warn you, I don't know how I'm gonna react to that. Maybe you should get some sleep. Okay. Let's go check out the frog bog and see how they're responding to their old lives. That's odd. This patch of muddy ground has a lot of tracks in it that look like human handprints. Well, except for the fact that humans don't normally walk around with their hands. Maybe it was an acrobat convention or something like that? I follow the tracks. There are 1 thumbs on a hand and 4 fingers, normal human. You follow the prints to a clearing in the middle of a small stand of trees. And to your surprise, you find an animal pretty much like the honey ape the kid described. Like a somewhat larger chimpanzee or very small gorilla, but with disproportionately large and human-like hands. It's sitting on the ground, casually drinking out of a beehive, and it doesn't seem to have noticed you yet. I sneak up on it. I don't have the mysticality. I'm gonna leave it alone. You successfully creep up on the unsuspecting primate, but you run out of trees, and brush to hide behind before you get too close to really do anything. I'm gonna need some mysticality. Yeah, that guy's not really bothering anyone, plus it might know karate or something. Best well to just leave it alone. Talking frogs were not on your list of expectations today. They only ribbit at me. Okay, I think I fixed it, right? All of you frogs are just frogs now, right?
Rabbit, 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 rabbit.
Yep. I think I've seen every single one of them just ribbit at me. I'm gonna go near each just in case. But I think we're all well and done there, grand. Okay, so let's get, it's gotta be muscle to 7 as well, right? So giant maggot seems about right. If I get mysticality via my cufflinks and then go for a wonder, maybe I'll find it. You find an old medicine show wagon overturned in the swamp. Most of its contents have long since hazardously dissolved into the local ecosystem, but there's probably some stuff left. A Birtworth's finest tooth wax, some rhino balm, a styptic pencil, and gauze pad. A healthy haul, certainly. I follow the tracks. 1 thumb, 4 fingers, sneak up on it, and then I outsmart it. You pick up a rock and chuck it into the underbrush on the other side of the clearing. The honey ape stiffens at the noise and starts scanning for predators in that direction. I grab it with my 7 muscle. You leap on the small primate and wrestle it to the ground, screeching loudly. I mean, the primate is What? Let's be fair, both of you actually are. Once you get it pinned, you grab it by the wrist rather, and yank off one of its long, untrimmed fingernails, which, thinking about that is making me wince. And I've written some pretty horrible stuff in this game alone, recently. You got an item, the honey ape fingernail, a totally normally sized fingernail. Marvel at it. With that horrible deed accomplished, you let the creature loose and it runs screaming into the swamp. Congratulations on successfully stalking, outsmarting, and assaulting a small weird ape. Thanks! And I'll do it again. Let's go to the monster shack, I want to turn that one in. A burly hunter trudging through the mud gives a holler. As he nears, you can see he's toting a shotgun under one arm and carrying a pile of gator hides over the other.
What are you doing? Swamp's no place for a little kid. Gators will eat you alive. Take this and get yourself on a seat in the next bussy.
You gain 23 meat. Wow, that's
not enough money for the bus. Fine, take it, but go.
You got 10 meat. Okay, not a little kid, by the way. Just so you know, I'm off to visit some instead. In the monster shack. Okay. Turns out you were right. The honey ape is totally a real thing. Oh my gosh, Wait, what? I knew it. Here's your tracing back with that fingernail you wanted. Wow. Huh. Something wrong? I guess I'm just torn between excitement, vindication, and the fact that this is a much grislier object than I imagined it was gonna be. Oh, don't worry about it. The honey ape will be fine and have 9 more. I guess that's true. Anyway, thanks for your help. Here's another Monster Squad badge. The kid takes your sash and pins another badge to it.
Hey!
Hey, it's got +1 muscle now. This is an upgradable accessory we're gonna be wearing over time. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks. Now I know what I'm accomplishing here. Love it. Moss Rock Grotto. We don't have any additional clues for what we should do outside of Moss Rock Grotto, so it seems a reasonable choice to go towards.
Dear me. This wretched swamp is going to ruin my various reagents and powders.
Don't you keep them in little glass jars or something?
Not for travel, that would be highly impractical. I just have little paper packets.
Maybe we should get you some cellophane.
Your newfangled music devices will not be of help in this situation. Your inventory is waterproof, is it not? Here, take a few of these.
You got an item miscellaneous chemicals, rather. This moss is twinkling for some reason. Well, if it isn't the moss man that kid was talking about, you've got a really unusual coincidence here. It doesn't exactly look fearsome, but if you're looking for a fight, it might be best to take advantage of this surprise. I talked to him. Oh, excuse me, are you a moss man?
Yep, that's me, Clyde Mossman. Pleased to meet you.
I'm Ryan Who.
Welcome to my humble abode. I don't get many visitors, except maybe that weird kid I see peeking around the trees.
Are you actually moss, man?
I ain't sure I get what you're meaning. That's my last name, like I said.
Yeah, but are you like a human person or some sort of moss swamp creature? I get that that's a strange and possibly rude question.
Well, I weren't always this way, but I've been living in the swamp some time now. Just kind of dug in and got comfortable. The moss just sort of grows out me natural like now instead of hair. I guess it just happened so gradual I got accustomed to it and didn't occur to me to question.
Whoops. Sorry. I didn't mean to give you some sort of philosophical crisis.
No apology necessitated. No apology necessitated, man.
No apology necessary. Wow. My brain did not want to read that correctly.
But if it's something I gotta be chewing on for a while.
Can I, have some of your moss?
Excuse me? You drop an existential bombshell on me and now you're asking for a part of my body?
Look, I'm not really in top social form today. I guess I do need some of that moss, though.
Well, I'll tell you what. You help me solve the puzzle of whether I'm a man or a monster, I'll give you some moss.
Well, the way I see it, you seem intelligent and you can hold a conversation, and you haven't tried to murder me for my delicious organ meats.
How do you know they're delicious?
So, I figure, what does it really mean to be human anyway? You may well be less Homo sapien and more whatever the technical term for moss is, but does that really matter in the grand scheme of things? What's really important is being a good person, whatever kind of person you are.
Well, that's real.
Even if it is an extremely kind of weird person.
Well, that's real good of you to say, friend. Guess that answers my question.
Great.
Here, let me give you some of my moss, just like I promised.
He peels off some of his mustache and gives it to you. Mossman's mustache. A lip-shaped slab of moss. Thanks. Say, are you a hobo?
Well, thing about hobos, they're always on the move. I feel like I'm practically the opposite of hobo.
This person's voice is all over the place. I happen to know a group of hobos that have settled down and built themselves a pretty nice camp. Bet you'd be welcome there if you were interested.
Well now, I do value my solitude, but it certainly couldn't do any harm to visit and see. In fact, I do believe I'm due for a vacation.
You mark the location on the hobo camp on Clyde's map, and he heads off into the swamp with a wave. This moss is twinkling for some reason. Yeah, some reason. Wait a second. Was moss one of the items that I could create alchemical reagents to dissolve? Because I just have no interaction with this yet. I mean, it's entirely possible at some point, Shadow Tuner in the future, go back to all of the shadow spaces, etc., whatever. And then that's going to be relevant. But until such a time, let's just get another upgrade for our sash. You've accidentally walked into a huge swarm of gnats and flies and they're buzzing super loud and... Actually, they got a pretty good beat going. Are those tiny musical instruments? Is that a locust with a fiddle? What's going on? I join in. You swing your hips and give the swarm a little old soft shoe and a jaunty whistle. The insects are super into it, despite the fact that you killed several of them every time you clap your hands, and when the show eventually winds to a close, they leave you a tip and buzz away. Alright, now Moss is over here. This kid's eating something. I meant the Moss man you were talking about. See? See, I told you he's real. Yeah, he seemed like a pretty decent guy, actually. He gave me his mustache. Here. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. The kid happily sticks the mustache to his upper lip. How do I look? Marcy? Oh, that's the best day of my life. The kid takes your sash, pins another badge to it, and hands it back to you. Mysticality from that one. Thank you, and 35 experience, of course. Now it's time for the Dolphin House. A spot of color in this drab swamp tells you that the Chupanaranja would be here, but some other time. That would be appropriate for me. Maybe I find a battery in the Dolphin House here. Looks like this car was left to rot. Unfortunately, it hasn't rotted enough for you to get past the locked door. I jimmy it open with a wire coat hanger. You unlock the door, destroying the hanger in the process. You search the car. It's empty except for the glove box, which actually turns out to be a key box. The key is not inside. Sorry, the key inside is not the key to the car. And if you have a sense of humor like mine, you'll agree that this is a real shame. You got an item. Dolphin padlock key. Tarnished. It must have been pretty humid inside that glove box. I can use that to unlock the padlock to the door to get into the shed, should I like. This tree has a hole in it. Conveniently, the hole is slightly larger than your hand. Honestly, for what is ostensibly a horror game, we've had way too few opportunities for you to stick your hand into a suspicious dark hole. I reach in. You slowly reach in the dark hole. It's damp and ominous, and then... I'm not even going to do the full scream. You find a key. Sorry, that scream wasn't really justified. You got an item, Dolphin padlocked key, which is mossy. The front door to Dolphin Manor is unlocked. Apparently Mr. Dolphin's love of padlocks was unrelated to home security. I'm gonna go for the fence first. Click! You pop the lock off and the door unlatches with an ominous... You got an item, recovered padlock. I enter the garage. Dolphin House. A workbench covered with tools, all rusted past the point of youthfulness. Even his bludgeons. Old Dolphin never got sick of tires, did he? Some say that the most powerful tool is a padlock. It's really more of the opposite of a tool though, because it obstructs rather than facilitates what you're trying to do. Unless what you're trying to do is lock something up. These cinder blocks are totally waterlogged. That's not good. One of the cinder blocks was standing way too close to the others. You explain personal boundaries to it and perform a quick procedure to make it a little less creepy. I get 2 sorted grease and 5 experience. Looks like I can't use my extra key to open the padlock here. So let's enter the Dolphin home first instead then. This couch faces the wall. It must have been the Dolphin family's punishment couch. Calpurnia Dolphin died of natural causes. Mopey Dolphin died of natural causes. Hortense Dolphin died of natural causes. Beasley Dolphin, same. Goldilocks Dolphin, same. And Fancyworth Dolphin, same. I've been waiting for a bathroom for all of my life. The Dolphins used a toilet like this, just like the rest of us. They used the toilet one at a time, rather. It doesn't work. Maybe something's wrong in the tank. I check it out. Well, there's your problem. There's a key stuck to the float valve hinge flange. You got an item, Dolphin padlock key. Wet. And of course, then I flushed the toilet for 65 experience, and then, of course, did I remember? I did indeed. I'm looking for the accursed fishing rod. I put that in my hand, and then I fish in it. Gaining for ourselves a fish zester. You rescue an old utensil from an involuntary burial at sea. It's a magical weapon? Somebody flushed a perfectly good fish zester down the toilet. Deals mysticality +6 in stench damage. The medicine cabinet's securely locked. Maybe it's full of deadly poisons. This bathtub is full of steaming blood! Oh no, wait, the red is just light coming through the stained glass rose window in the in the bathroom window. Sorry, stained glass rose hanging in the bathroom window. Apologies. That doesn't really explain why the water's still hot though, right? I fish. With the hot rod, no less.
Wow, you caught something.
A handful of clean water. And there's some extra meat on the line. We also caught another handful of dirty water. What about at the very bottom of this? We find another handful of clean water. Yeah, fair enough. And here I thought, at the very bottom, we would have found a key. This door is padlocked. I unlock it with the wet key. And go through that door with my recovered padlock in pocket. It's open house second floor way. Right, of course. So, wait. I got into this. So, wait. I want to go back to the first room. I need to be thorough. Stairs down to the first floor. Wait. Okay, so that stairs. That's a stairway, right? That we opened there. Got it. Got it. Got it. The basement of this swamp house is predictably completely flooded. You'll need some kind of breathing apparatus if you want to go down there. I need one of those so badly. We've got this and the submarine here as well. A fancy store-bought radio. I use Rufus's gadget and get it up to 7. A fancy serving cart, which I investigate. It's one of those fancy serving carts they use in posh hotels and in posh manor houses apparently, with a big silver platter covered by a dome-shaped cloche. Just the right size to hide a severed head. Or a roast of some kind. I look under the dome. You cautiously reach out and grip the handle and then take a deep breath. Slowly, you lift the lid, tilting your head back to peek underneath. Oh, it's empty. Oh well. We'll find a head to put under there. No padlocks on the dinner table, that's both a rule and an observation. A clean and well-lit corner. Enough fine china to feed an army. If only you could get past the padlock. And if you were in command of the world's hoitiest military. The Dauphin House kitchen has, in Pepperidge Father's house, there are many drawers. I rifle through them. You know what? What about the sink? I go fishing in the sink first. Nice. You caught a bit of wet potato. You toss it in your fish sack for some reason. A chunk of moldy onion. Also a fish. Oh, a chunk of gristle. That's a classic fish right there. I rifle through the drawers. Lots of stuff in here. Dire corn holder. A melee weapon for muscle plus 6 physical damage, heals you for 3. A regular corn holder is just a tiny vampire that drinks corn cob juice instead of blood. A dire one also drinks blood. Junk mail and a fuse, unfortunately. Still no battery! The oven is full of gross, steamy swamp worms. Ugh. One of those old fridges that people got locked in and accidentally one of those old fridges that people sometimes got locked in and accidentally asphyxiated. Oh wait, that's still all fridges these days. Maybe that's why it's padlocked. I unlock it with the mossy key. Click! You got an item! Recovered padlock. The fridge is empty of both expired food and expired hide-and-seekers. You do find a key inexplicably frozen into a block of ice though. You got an item, key, and a block of ice. I'm gonna go melt that in the bathtub. The humidity has turned most of these dry goods into stale goods. I see if there's anything left and we find a can of fruit cocktail. A can of fruit cocktail, a variety of chopped fruit floating in syrup, sorry. If modern technology had produced anything better than this, I don't want to hear about it, and I probably wouldn't, because hearing aids haven't even been invented yet, as far as I know. Increases all of your stats by 1. Really good item right there. I'm feeling like we're finally getting a lot of the items that cover the entire spectrum for our character. You know, one of them's really gross. In the hat we're currently wearing, sure, admittedly. But it still gets us the stats, and that's what I care about the most. I'm gonna drop in the frozen key and get the Dauphin padlock key cold out of it. Then, I'm going to return to the cabinet Just in case that is the one that I need to unlock with this, I'm very quickly going to go outside and check if it was the correct padlock for the toolbox. It is not, and now I'll go upstairs. See? Method. Again, taking left to right, that door's padlocked, makes sense. That door's padlocked, also makes sense. This door's open. Some dirt in a planter where presumably a plant in a planter once stood. The toy box is disappointingly empty. Not even a BB gun or a creepy doll? Maybe the doll's hiding elsewhere. This nightstand has one empty drawer and one locked drawer. An eerie, ghostly sound is coming from inside of it. A comfortable looking bed, free of bloodstains or vaguely person-shaped lumps under the blanket. I check under the pillow. Ooh, shiny! Someone must have traded a key-shaped tooth. We got another padlock key, a shiny one. Wardrobes were very important in old houses like this that didn't have built-in closets to keep skeletons inside of. I check inside. You relieve the furniture of its contents, none of which are skeletal unless you count the wire hanger. You got an item, work pants. 4 physical armor, a durable and thick pair of pants for honest and thick work. And the wire coat hanger for, busting into cars. A shelf full of books about sports. The titles are too boring for me to even tell you what they are. And nothing's hiding under the bed. Except dust. Excellent. Well, that gives us an extremely limited set of options. Okay, so there's the shiny key from that. For where the next key was going to be utilized, was going to be the end of that sentence. There's a little jewelry box on this table, which I open, and I find a bacon stone bracelet and a drumstick ring. Bacon stone bracelet, regenerate an extra AP per round, really good for combat this. The enchanted gem on this bracelet focuses your body's energy into your hand, so you can get more hand-related tasks done. And the drumstick ring. With this, you'll always have an extra drumstick handy in case you accidentally toss one into the crowd while doing a stupid twirl trick. Tricky timpani also reduces its target muscle, mysticality, and moxie, good gosh, by 1. I have hit my quota for ability to read today. A fancy nightstand, which I search. Wait, faggot! Battery! The fancy nightstand's contents are not at all disappointing and not at all non-fancy. They are a battery and self-adhesive rivets. We also got, a disappointing lock, apparently, or key. This bed looks inviting, but nobody seems to have accepted the invitation for some time. Oh, damn! What a sick slam! It's a fancy vanity, which appeals to your pedestrian vanity. I look through the drawers and I find some radium rouge! The convenient thing about products with radium in them is they're easy to find in the darkness of the coffin they'll ultimately put you in. Increases your mysticality and moxie by 1. Incroyable. Now, I'm gonna go out and open. I could have sworn that was gonna be what I needed. I got a disappointing key. I guess the China? No? Where else was a key? I mean, maybe downstairs? Oh no, of course, the cold key. In the medicine cabinet. Mercury eye drops and a gauze pad as well as a recovered padlock. What a strange thing to collect. I'm gonna splash some water on my face and I lose the sprained elbow. But where does the disappointing one go? I look at the fancy cart just in case there's anything in it now. I mean, is it the breathing apparatus that we are going to need in order to get... No, never mind. This one apparently was able to be unlocked by the disappointing key, which I'll do now. Getting into the final bedroom on the second floor, apparently we lead directly to the attic. You assume that Dauphin was superstitious enough to not store any padlocks on the east side of his attic. That's how you get family curses. Probably. Lots of boxes, but none of them say padlocks on them, and you're not going to be motivated to search them otherwise. Who knows what grisly things you might find. This workbench is strewn with bits of gizmos and bits of gizmos. Amongst all that, you find what looks like a miniature radio carved from driftwood. I grab it. A radio small enough for you to carry? Amazing. Maybe if you listen to it periodically, it'll actually warn you about nearby monsters that are manifesting as... Oh, sorry, it'll warn you about any nearby monsters that are actually manifestations of your repressed traumas. Or maybe it'll just give you baseball scores. Nearby monsters that are actually representations of your manifestations of your repressed traumas. So is that the darkness? Or is that Alan Wake? Or is that Resident Evil? I'm trying to think, is a radio directly immediately important in any of those specifically? I haven't played The Darkness is the thing. Wait, am I thinking of The Darkness? Anyhow, I'm getting far too in the weeds. We have a handmade radio, which I'm gonna give a listen to. You hold the radio up to your ear, a boy's voice says, "Gee, Pop, where'd you get all that treasure? Is it a cursed pirate hoard stolen from the ruins of an ancient civilization?"
No, son, nothing like that. Just sound investments in perfectly normal and moral financial markets.
Those voices sound so eerie. Interesting. Well, I mean, so we hold it in our hand, I guess, at the moment. We can occasionally just press space in order to get information. You hold the radio up to your ear. You hear a little girl's voice shouting, "Mom, Mom, a terrible ghoul stole the key to my nightstand." A woman's voice replies, "Now, dear, don't call your little brother Ralphie a terrible ghoul. He probably hid the key in the potted plant in the hallway like he usually does." Interesting. We go look inside and find exactly that key. You hold the radio up to your ear, you hear a man's voice scolding angrily. "For goodness sake, Agnes, you're obsessed! Obsessed with taping things to the backs of paintings! Just like your aunt, one-eyed Calpurnia Dolphin. You'll probably die peacefully in your sleep just like she did." Whose voice is so eerie? So, let's check the back of these paintings. There, we got a sticky key from that. Excellent, excellent. Now, it was the key to a nightstand that we got. So that's this one, which we open and get the creepy music box. An offhand item deals your mysticality and spooky damage to all combatants once per fight. Very easy way to clear out a couple of rooms if we need to. We have a total of 8 recovered padlocks. I think there's 11 in total. Now that's the nightstand hint again, which we'd already gotten. So I'm looking for a new padlock. I mean, it could be the China, certainly. It is not. I'm going to guess that we need to go back out here to the toolbox with the sticky key, which we did need. We got the recovered padlock. The tool chest contains 1 tool and 1 key, which I guess also counts as a tool, albeit an extremely specific one. So 2 tools then. We got a handsaw. Yes. Oh, geez, is that blood all over the... Oh, no, wait, it's just rust. Never mind. And an item Dolphin padlock key, which is rusty. If rust were poetry, this key would be an ode to age and neglect. I'm gonna guess that that's the China cabinet, which it is. We get the recovered padlock. You open the China cabinet door and examine the stacks of fine bone china. Wait, bone china? Perhaps human bone china? Oh no, the brand mark on the bottom is a pretty well-known company, so it's probably not. Anyway, you find a really nice hat. Fine china helmet. It's entirely possible that this is a gravy boat that you're just wearing upside down, but don't let that stop you. +4 to magical weapon attacks. That takes us to a total of 10 recovered padlocks. So where's the final padlock I'm looking for? I'm really hoping it's not just downstairs. A man's voice.
Ralphie, why on earth do you keep flushing this fish zester down the commode? Have you been possessed by some otherworldly or demonic force?
No, Dad, I just thought it'd be a funny place to hide it, comes the response. All good? Remember, Ralphie, says a woman's voice, you mustn't ever open the door to strangers. A boy's voice replies, okay, Mom, because it might be a kidnapper or a murderer, right? Oh, I'm sure that would never happen. But it might be a vacuum cleaner salesman, and we already have one.
His voice is so eerie.
A vacuum cleaner salesman, and you already have one. Just don't think that's necessarily relevant to us. You hold the radio up to your ear.
A ghostly voice wails, "Who stole my golden arm?"
And then a boy's voice says, ah, come on, sis. Don't you know any other ghost stories? That's the only one you ever tell. Well, it's because you can have that story told to you in a quick bite. That's why it's so appealing, you see. Everyone's gonna go crazy for it. So I know the Terrible Ghoul nightstand. Let's go to the attic and see what it has to say there. Actually, no. I guess we've already checked that. The financial market investment, etc. Taping to the back of the painting, because it does seem like as I get hints from this, it unlocks additional options for what we can actually perform. So let's try it in the kitchen. You hold the radio up to your ear. You hear a woman's voice saying, oh, please be careful around the kitchen knives, Rebecca. They're really sharp. I keep them that way because, counterintuitive as it may be, dull knives actually cause more accidents. Yes, Mother, I understand. Unfortunately, not something that seems like it gives us any additional information with which to act upon the environment. Let's try bathroom. All right, that was the commode message from prior. Let's try outside. You hold the radio up to your ear, a woman's voice says, Clarence, I'm so grateful our families never suffered from supernatural curses, serial murder, demonic corruption, or the plague.
I agree, dear. We've been certainly fortunate, and doubtless will remain so.
You hold the radio up to your ear, a woman's voice gasps, oh my, Clarence! Why are you lying on the floor on your workbench? Are you alright? Were you attacked by a burglar or an ex-murderer?
Calm down, Agnes. I'm fine. I'm just practicing changing oil in a car.
His voice is so eerie.
Ah, here we go. Wait a second, was this the bench the woman on the radio was talking about? I check under the bench and I find the padlock key. That's what we're looking for. Loose. And I get 11 in 1 oil also. Now I need to find the padlock. Still not certain what this opens, but I'm ready to open it. Doesn't look like it's outside. Not behind one of them unnecessarily. I mean, I've heard all of the goings on, so maybe if I go near the appropriate thing, the game will just allow me. A new interaction. So far, not good. That sounded like a new noise, but no, the terrible ghoul Ralphie. Oh, of course, the cedar chest is locked, and easily a whole skeleton could fit in it. We got the rope-covered padlock and a perfumed wedding veil. This will come in handy if I ever decide to save money by getting married at the city dump. +1 to Moxie and 3 to Stench Armor. We'll smile in the vanity and then make our way out of this building extremely successfully with the longest episode we've had so far. And I will be heading back to the Monster Shack in order to hand in our newly completed mission, as well as craft the Chupa Naranja trap perfectly. At the start of the next episode. Until then, my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Shadows over Loathing. Top left is a series playlist for all my content in the game, past, present, future. YouTube recommendation down below, streaming past. Other names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays. Out above the thank you, and a special thanks to this episode to Sorathil. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.